Yo, what's up beautiful people of YouTube? Welcome to Dom's Media Zone. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a really old photograph of me back from the 80s when I was a small child rocking those cool pajamas. As you can see, this photo is highly damaged and creased up. You can even see the back, it's torn in some pieces, but it's a really cool photo that I have from when I was a small child. And I was wondering if it's possible to use Canon's DPP4 to take and fix this photo up so that I can restore it and get rid of all the cracks and tears in this photo using Canon's DPP4. So I've done the whole process and I'm going to show you how I've done this. If you've got any old photos lying around that you really treasure or you're really fond of, but they are damaged in any sort of way and you're wondering if it's possible to fix them up using Canon's DPP4, the answer is yes, it is possible. And in today's video, I'll show you how that's done. Now, before we get into this video, the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need your photo and you're going to need your Canon camera. You're going to have to take a photo of the photo. So basically what I've done is I took the photo and I put a bit of white tack on the photo and stuck it up against the wall. I then took my light that I had at home and I set the light to about 5000 Kelvin output so that it's a nice clean white light. Now it's alright if you don't have one of those, just use anything that's kind of bright to light the photo up and then aim the light at an angle so that it doesn't bounce directly back to the camera and have reflections on it. So what I've done is I just handheld the camera, aimed it really carefully and took a photo of the nicely lit up old photo. Now once you've got that photo, let's jump on ahead and I will show you in DPP4 how to fix this up. Alright, so once you've taken a photograph of your old damaged photo and you've saved it on your computer in any of the folders that you've created, go ahead and find your folder and then find your photo. Select the photo and then click on Edit Image to bring up your image for editing. Now the first place we want to start off with, we want to remove this white background that's here. So this is part of the wall when I photographed the picture. And as you can see, it's also a little bit skew, it's not entirely straight. So to fix that, we want to jump into this tab, which is the Crop and Rotate Images tab or page. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, give it a few minutes to load up. Now over here, if you click on this image, you'll see this grid line appears and you'll see if I pull it up or down, the whole grid line changes. I can't really stretch it from side or up or anything. I can move it around and I can move the corners up and down. That's because the aspect ratio is locked at 2:3, which means this is 2 and this side going down is 3. So we want to change that to free aspect ratio. And what that lets you do now that we've changed it to free, you can see now we can adjust it however we want it. So I like to work with it on free, but if you do want to have a locked aspect ratio, go ahead and select it over there. So right now I can move this up and I think that would do it, and I've selected as much of the image as I can. And what I will do is this little angle bar, it slides to the left and to the right, lets you rotate the image. So what I normally do is find something that's straight, so like the shelf over here at the back, and then I've got my lines, the grid, so I can align something that's straight with those grid lines. So I'm just going to move it until it looks more or less straight to me, and I think that will do it. So that kind of looks straight to me, so I'm happy with this adjustment. Once you've done with the cropping or selecting the area of the photo you want to work with, go ahead and click on the basic image adjustments button over here to view how it's going to look. So this looks all right to me. Now that we've done with that, we're going to start by fixing all these cracks in this old photograph. And to do that, we want to jump into this tab over here, which is the Remove Dust from Images or Apply as Stamp. Now go ahead and click on that tab and you'll see this little thing here. It means it's opening up or loading the photo. This can take a little bit of time. Alright, now that it's loaded up and you can see these options are available now, we're going to be mainly using this select copy source routine. What that lets you do, it lets you copy from one part of the image and apply it somewhere else. So what we're going to be doing, for example, if we've got a crack on the photo here, we're going to copy from this side and apply the copy routine over here. So to show you that, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So let's zoom in maybe 50%. Here you can choose how many percent you want to zoom in, and then by clicking clicking the mouse button and holding it down, you can move around the photograph. So there we go. Let's start maybe here in the corner and work our way down. Now, just to warn you, this is a lengthy process. It can take you quite some time and it does require some patience. And if it's a photo that really means a lot to you, I would say it's worth doing. But if you're doing multiple photos, this can become quite tedious really quickly. So let's do one at a time. Let's start with this one. So what I'm gonna do, just to show you, there's a radius here, so you can actually change the size of the part where you're going to be copying to. So let's go select copy source. Now if I move my mouse over the photo, you'll see it becomes this little crosshair, almost like you're targeting, like you're shooting, and you're selecting where you want to copy from. So if I click here, I want to copy from there, and then you can see it turns into this big circle and it lets me move it around. So I've selected where I'm copying from, and now it's asking me to hold down the left mouse button to apply that copy routine. So you can see here, if I move slowly, it copied from here all the way up. What I could do is select copy routine, click somewhere else again, and you can see it's copying over. So it's copied over from the good bit and covered up the bad bit. So if you notice, if I hold down the left mouse button, now there's a little cross behind on the top right hand corner of that circle. You can see there's a cross. That's where it's copying from. So it's showing you as I move, wherever that cross is, that's where it's copying from. So there we go. That's how we're going to do it. Now, why am I clicking select copy source constantly? It's because I want to cover up these damaged parts with the bits right next to them. So what would happen if I didn't select it constantly? I'll just show you. See, you get these kind of weird wavy lines and it doesn't look good. It doesn't copy it properly. So I'm going to undo that by clicking this button here. That's why constantly you have to select copy from somewhere where it's really nearby, and then I'll show you a shortcut to do that. Instead of clicking the select copy source over all the time and just kind of doing this and then back here and copy and doing that, what you can do, I'm just going to undo that one. What you can do is click S on your keyboard and it turns into that crosshair. So just clicking S on its own is much quicker. So there we go. We've done that bit. Now I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to do that. So I'm going to keep doing this for a bit of this photo, and then after a while, because this will take me a long time to do, I'm going to speed up this video just so you can see the whole thing sped up in motion. So for now, I'll just show you a little bit more. See, I'm clicking S to copy and copy from there. S to copy and click. I don't even have to hold it down. I usually just click. I find better results if I don't drag it, but just click once again, click once again, click. There we go. You see, if I do hold it and drag it, so if I do drag, it leaves this kind of trail, which is something you want to try and avoid. So there we go. If I want to move the photo up a bit, I have to press down on my space bar and hold down space bar, and then with my mouse I can move it around again. So I'll just show you what I'll do around the face, because this is a bit of a more difficult part to get. Again, S to copy and then click. S to copy, click. S, click, and then copy always like right next to the image. If you find somewhere that it doesn't look nice from that part, you can copy from the other side. Just use your judgment what looks the best. Here we're going to cover that. Okay, great. And then what I wanted to show you is just be careful around the edges. So if, for example, like here around the face, if I did this, copy and then click, you'll see the chick will start getting black because I'm copying from the black part here. So I'm going to undo that. What you want to do in cases like this is point your circle somewhere in between where it's dark and light. So you can see I'm kind of in the middle. Press S to copy from there, and then click. There we go. See, that kind of worked. So clicking is better than dragging down. That's what I've learned, even though it is time consuming. The nice thing is when you get to areas like this, so I'm going to just zoom out a little bit. When you get to bigger areas like this, for example, where you need to cover the whole thing up, you can make the radius bigger by sliding this along. So I'm going to move the radius to 100 now. This is unfortunately the biggest it gets. And I'm going to copy, and from here, copy and click. Copy, click, and just to cover everything up. So it's just something that requires patience and a little bit of time. And then the tricky bits are going to be around the clothes here because they have a pattern on them. So I'll show you how I do that. So if I scroll down, there's some patterns on these pajamas, these awesome pajamas I was rocking back then in 1980s. And I'm going to copy. And here you might want to just kind of click. You see, I messed up the pattern, so I have to undo it. I mean, these things won't be really noticeable when you're done, because if you zoom out in the complete photo later on, you won't even know the difference. But it's good to kind of try do it the best you can. So that one may be messed up a little bit. There we go. So let's just do something like that here. Can we drag it? Is that better? Maybe a little bit. Let's try dragging it. No, that looks horrible. So undo it. Don't click this because this will undo all the changes that you've done. Every single thing you've done will undo. So be careful with this. Just use this one here. It's much better. So what I'll do is just do that. Click, click. There we go. That looks much better. That looks much better. It's all about kind of aiming it properly. So if I do that, that part's a bit more difficult, but it's fine. That looks okay. There we go. Nope. Nope. See, some of it's much harder than other parts. So like if I go to the black part first, that should be easy. And then from here, we could probably do that. From here, we can copy that. There we go. That's all right. Cool. That's okay. Now, if we zoom out ×1, zoom out to the original, you can see you can't really see very well what we've done there. So it looks like it's just part of the photograph. And I'm going to zoom in again. And we'll have to do this for the whole photo. So this is, as I said, time-consuming process. I would recommend doing it this way in Canon DPP4 only if you've got a photo that you really care about, you want to have it restored, or you want to maybe print it out, send it as a gift to someone, but it's damaged and you want to just fix it up best you can. You can do this process even though it is long and tedious. Now, how much you want to fix is up to you. I like to fix it properly so that it looks the best I can, and that's it. So there we go, we fixed the bottom part. I'll come back to all these parts later, but for now I'm going to go through all of it, fix it up, starting from the top, going all the way, and then I'll show you guys the final results. So I will speed up this video by quite a lot so I don't bore you to death, and then we'll go and see the final result at the end. Now here around the lips and the face, you might want to make your radius a bit smaller to be more detailed because it's easy to mess it up. So I'm just going to get the radius to kind of match the size of what I'm trying to cover. So that's just a little tip. There we go. All right, and back to speeding it up. All right, one more thing to show you that's really useful. If you've got things like patterns, you can see I've got this block here and there's some crease on the photo. Instead of trying to copying from it where you'll get like these weird wavy things, what you can do is find a block that's already good, that's been fixed, zoom in on it, just kind of point your pointer at it, press S, select in the center of that block, then go into the center of the other block and hold down and just move it around, and that copies the whole block shape. So like this one, that's the same color. I'm just matching the colors of the blocks, and then what I do is I select from here and I just copy the matching color over here. So patterns you can copy that way, really good, and it works really well. So instead of going into each one and struggling, I can select one that's already been fixed and kind of copy that over to fix the whole thing. There we go, like that. And then we're carrying on. Alright, and that looks like we're done. So as you can see, I've removed all the cracks in the photo now, and it's back in one piece and looks much better. Now, there's additional things you could do. Once you've done with your photo, you could go to your basic adjustments tab, go all the way to the bottom, and once you're at the bottom, you could possibly increase the contrast a little bit. If you're working with a black and white photo, you could maybe make the shadows a little bit darker, and the highlights, in this case, I would probably leave them as they were. Color tone doesn't affect it. Sharpness, you can adjust the sharpness. Go watch some of my other videos on how to use these basic adjustments. Now, I could move this to the right a little bit to kind of get the blacks more black, if you will, and this is how it looks in the end. So there's other things you could do. So for example, if you scroll all the way up and then you find this adjust image colors, there's a button here that says monochrome. So I know this photo is already black and white, but if you notice, because it's an old photo, it's kind of washed out. It's got these red tints. Now I kind of like that, so I'm not going to make it a monochrome, but you could. So this is what it would look like if you did make it a monochrome. As you can see, all those red colors are gone and it's completely black and white now, but I'm going to undo that because I preferred it the way it was. Now that I've undone that, I'm going to go back into my basic image adjustments tab, and what we're going to do is we're going to compare the before and after. So if I click here, this button right here at the bottom gives you the before and after. Just give it a few seconds to load. There we go. Once it's loaded, you can see the before and after. And as you can see, using Canon's Digital Photo Professional 4, we've managed to fix a really creased up photo and make it look good again. We could potentially print this out again and keep a photo for memory that looks good and is not so creased up. So yes, it is a long and tedious process. It does take you a good maybe 10 to 15 minutes depending on the photo, how badly damaged it is. You do get better the more you use the remove dust from images and apply a stamp tool. So it does come with a bit of practice, but I would encourage you to practice on a photo like this just to get the technique perfect, and you'll see in no time how easily it is to fix these up. Once you're happy with the photo, as always, you can save your photo. So click over here to save as, pick the file destination where you want to save your photo. You could name it something like fixed up. Let's just call it fixed up. And then here you can choose the output resolution. Mine's usually 350 dpi. Image quality, I like to leave mine on full, and then go ahead and click save, and you'll see a little box pops up and it saves the photo for you. Once your photo is saved, you are free to do whatever you want with it. You can email it to your family, or you can print it out, or you can just keep it on your hard drive and do whatever you want with your photo. So that's it for this tutorial on how to restore old photos using Canon's DPP4. And that's all I've got for this tutorial today. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I do hope it helps you out to restore those old family photos. And if you did like this video, do give me a thumbs up and do consider subscribing. If you're new to this channel, go check out my other videos. There's plenty of content about Canon's DPP4, so you can learn all about it by watching those videos. So as always, thanks for watching, stay safe, take care, and goodbye.